Hey guys, how's it going and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the players I think have got the best chance of winning multiple RLCS World Championships this year. Because this year, there's not just 3v3, there's not just 1v1, there's also 2v2 in the mix. This is a topic I've discussed a couple times on my live stream, but now that we've got the first regional done across every region, I think it's a good time to start discussing this. You think about who actually has a good chance of winning more than just one World Championship, potentially all three. So we're watching Naupo POV here, going up against SSG at the Boston Major, because I think he's a player that we have to discuss in this context, because he's the 1v1 defending World Champion, and no doubt will be a contender in this year's Ones World Championship as well. But the reason I wanted to show this game is also because Diaz, who's at the moment playing with Chronic, at the Major playing with Chronic and Reveal, but he's recently won an NA regional, which means that he's climbing the ladder of likelihood in the 3v3 world, although I think they've still got a ways to go if they're going to be considered true contenders. I think they need to get just one more good event in them, which actually, but I'm recording this right after the regional 1 is finished for Europe. Maybe by the time you guys see this, Diaz has already backed up his first good event of the second split, or maybe not, maybe it's all falling apart. Either way, yeah, Naupo and Diaz, two players in the pitch right now. I think they're absolutely contenders. They were the grand final of the 1v1 major that was played last year in Rally. There's not going to be 1v1 majors this year. There's just going to be 4 players at the World Championship instead of 2. So last year we had 2 players at each major, then the winners of those matches at the World Championship. This year it's just going to be all 4 at the World Championship, which I think is really cool. Get to see a little bit more ones at the World at Worlds, and 2v2 as well. Same thing, 4 teams in total. So it's going to be very exciting. But the honorable mentions I've got, players I'm not going to put in my top 5, but I think need to be brought up, are Zen and Daniel. And the reason I'm saying honorable mentions is because they didn't play 1v1 last year. I don't know if they're playing 1v1 this year, but obviously if they do, and if they grind for it, they're going to be up there with the best in their regions. I think Diaz is the favorite for NA ones. Oh, is that it? It is. I forgot about that one. It's just unfortunate for SSG there. But yeah, Diaz is a favorite for NA ones. I think actually the best player who can stop him, or the player with the highest chance to stop him, would be Daniel, if he plays and if he actually grinds for it, because he did play Salt Mine 4, Daniel. I know it's a while ago now, but he didn't really prepare enough for it, and he wasn't on the level needed to win an event of NA1's caliber these days. So I think Daniel's an honorable mention for sure. Will he play? Will he grind? Remains to be seen. And will Zen play? We'll have to wait and see as well. I really hope both of them do. They are both so talented, and I think they've both got great chances to win and to make the World Championship for 1v1. But for Daniel, very doable. I think he's got a good chance if he grinds to win it. Zen, it's going to be, I think, a bit harder, because you've got to go up against players like Moxie, who's always going to be in fine form. Batira, Atto, Nas, obviously. Yeah, there's going to be more world-class players that Zen would have to beat. I'd say, yeah, those guys absolutely in the mix. And then when it comes to 3v3, of course, Daniel and Zen have great chances to win. And 2v2, I think, yeah, very good chances as well, depending who they play with. I think Daniel probably play with Beast Mode. And I think Zen, he's been playing a bit with Atto, hasn't he, recently? I wonder if they're going to allow that, or are they going to make, or are Vitality going to make him play with Stizzy? I don't know. I'm not sure what's going to happen there. Yeah, Zen and Daniel, honorable mentions. Will they play ones? Not sure. The 2 guys on the pitch right now, Diaz and Naupo, I think they both have much worse chances of winning 3v3. I think that Zen and Daniel's chances of winning 3v3 are definitely better than Naupo and Diaz's are, especially right now with Twisted Minds really struggling in MENA. But I do think that Twisted Minds can regain, and I think that Space Station's recent forms looked impressive, so I'll say that they're both outside shots at winning 3s. Not anywhere near as good of a chance as Zen or Daniel's energy or vitality, though. But yeah, when it comes to 2v2, all of these guys have chances. I think the best one would probably, in my opinion, go to Naupo. Him and TRK are absolute monsters in 2s together. So that's going to be a great chance for him. And then 1s, I think he's got probably the best chance out of anyone. Just to go back-to-back. Diaz, interested to see who he's going to play 2s with. I think it is possible to make it as the 2s representatives. But yeah, I don't know who's going to be the 2v2 team between Diaz, Scribbles, and Reveal. Very interesting stuff. I love thinking about stuff like this. Hopefully you guys do as well. But yeah, that's why I'm putting in my top 5. Just pure. If Zen and Daniel were confirmed playing the 1s, I'd probably put both of them in ahead of Diaz and Naupo. But because I'm not sure, I'm saying Diaz and Naupo for now are in my 5 and 4. Diaz 5, Naupo 4, and Naupo was higher before the recent collapsed class that they had in MENA, which has made me lose a little bit of faith in them. But yeah, I'll get into my top 3 after this. They're all going to be in the same lobby. But let's just see how this one ended. There it is, as they were able to, Twisted Minds were able to win this game and indeed this series in Boston. Now let's get into the other game and I'll discuss my top 3. Alright, this is NAS POV against Falcons at the Major as well. Game 6. This was a thrilling series. But NAS, Oski, and Archie, of course, by now you all know, went on to win this and went on to win this match and indeed the final. And it was off the back of some phenomenal plays from NAS in particular. I mean, what a Champ Sunday he had. What a goal that is to open the scoring. But yeah, the reason I want to show this one is because I think 3 of your main contenders, the 3 players who are most likely to be multi-champs this year, are NAS, Ruas, and Drally. I'm thinking that my number 3 that I'm going to pick, third most likely, is going to be Drally, purely because I think Ruas will play the 2s with his twin brother Kalirs. I think they've got a better chance of doing well in the 2s than Drally does. I heard Drally's going to be playing it with Monkeyman, which is a good team, but I think that the twins will be favoured against them. And then obviously they're teaming together, Ruas and Drally. So 3s, their success in 3s is conjoined. And then 1v1, I think their chances are pretty similar. Both slight underdogs, I'd say, to Naupo in the MENA 1s. But yeah, I think that my number 3 is Drally, my number 2 is Ruas. I'll say number 1, and this might be a bad time to say it because he just lost in 3s. I'm going to say NAS. And I actually changed my mind on this recently. I was thinking that one of the MENA guys was going to be the number 1 most likely player to do this, to be a multi-champion. But now I'm leaning, for some reason, I'm leaning NAS. Because of course he's got chances in all 3 game modes. If NAS plays with Oski in 2s, which I would assume they're going to do. I don't know that for certain, but yeah, I think that's probably going to be the team. I think that's a great chance to win. NAS has been one of the best 2s duos in the world with Durali in the past. Oski's been actually one of the best 2s duos in the world with Toxic, which is a bit more of a surprising combination that was incredibly powerful. But NAS and Oski together in 2s, yeah, that seems like a pretty good team. So they've got a chance, albeit a harder road to qualifying in 2v2 than Durali or Ruas do. But then I think the 3v3 chance for Gentlemates, I think it is better than the Falcons guys. And when it comes to 1v1, MENA 1v1 is actually pretty stacked. And I think the Ruas and Durali both come into that one as underdogs compared to NAS, just because they would have to beat Naupo to even be at the World Championship, whereas NAS doesn't have to beat Naupo, so it's just a big deal. But Durali also going from Europe to MENA this year makes MENA 1s the most insanely stacked tournament. You get Durali, Ruas, and Naupo all in the same tournament. Only one of them can go to Worlds. That's crazy. Now, of course, EU is also super stacked with Moxie in there, like I said in the last game. Will Zen play? Maybe. Vatira, Atto, obviously. Absolutely contenders. But I think that NAS has a better chance of coming out ahead of all that than Ruas or Durali do. First of all, beating each other, and then also beating Naupo. That's just a tougher task, I'll say. So I'll say NAS has better chances in 1s and 3s, and then Ruas and Durali probably have better chances in 2s, just less competition in 2s. And they're obviously very, very good players. But yeah, it's really hard. I thought when I sat down to properly think about this, because every time I've talked about this topic, it's been waffling on stream. And I thought when I sit down and actually think about this, I'm sure I'll be able to come up with a list I'm happy with, because I usually am. But this one I really don't know. There's so many variables, 3 different game modes, 4 different regions being able to participate in those. OCE, SSA, and APAC do have 1v1 and 2v2 events, but they do not have World Championship qualifier spots. They're just going to be online events. Yeah, so many different things happened recently that made this even harder to predict as well. All of the different random region results that have been coming in just make this even more up in the air. But that's interesting to me. So yeah, let me know in the comments your top 5. I'll let you know again. My summary is honorable mentions Zen and Daniel, because I don't know if they're going to play ones. Then at 5, I'm going Diaz. At 4, I'm going Naupo, and that's because Diaz, want to see more from him before I'm convinced that they have a true shot at 3s, and same for Naupo. I don't think at the moment they do have a true shot at 3s. And then yeah, 2s going to be tough. They're really just the favourites in 1v1 in their respective regions, but I think Naupo's got a better chance in 1s overall, so I'll say him ahead of Diaz at my 4. And then 3 Drally, 2 Ruas, and number 1 Nas. I've swung back to Nas just because when I look at all the game modes, I think he's got a realistic chance of winning all of them. And that is the purpose of the topic of this video. So who's got a better chance of winning all, well, multiple, if not all, of the game modes? Diaz, I'm not sure he can... Actually, I think he's the guy who's least likely to win any of them, but he has an okay chance in them all. Saved there by a Nas dodge in the air to move up just as we talk here. Naupo's got a great chance in 1s, not so good in the other game modes. 2s, actually, good chance in 2s as well. So I think he's got a great chance in 2s. But in 3s is the question mark. And then for the twins, well, Ruas, Drally, better chance in 3v3, I'd say. Lower chance in 1v1, and a decent chance in 2v2. So we start to get to the guys who really can, I think, win all of them. It's just Ruas, Drally, and Nas. At the moment, they're the 3 guys. But I'm very willing to add Zen and Daniel into that list, and I would probably remove Naupo and Diaz if it got confirmed that Daniel and Zen are indeed playing the 1v1. I think they have a chance to win everything as well. So those are my guys. And yeah, I'm saying Nas for now, but it could change. I'm going to be very curious to see how the storylines develop with the extra modes, which I'm super happy to see in RLCS, of course. And very excited to watch. Hopefully you guys are as well. That's going to be, I think the quals for those are in June, if I remember correctly. And then last chance quals, they come later. Yeah, lots to look forward to. Oh, Nas driving underneath the ball. Let's lock in here and see how this game ended. We got overtime at the major. Falcons against Gentlemates. Gentlemates had the 2-goal lead. Falcons came back, tied it. And the Falcons at the major on the Sunday looked like they finally started putting it all together. It started to make sense. Everybody's thinking, okay, they're clicking. This is what we're going to see for the rest of the season. And then now they've lost to R8 and Mina. Got swept by TM in the group stage as well, so we don't know anymore. Gentlemates losing to Man City in EU as well. So who knows? Who knows what kind of level we're going to get from these teams. We can certainly say, though, that the peaks of these 2 teams are easily able to win events. Well, not like they're easily going to win the events, but the peaks are definitely able to win events for the rest of the season, which I do expect them both to make, even though they're not currently in the points to qualify for. Archie 50s it out to Oski. That's a good chance. Kaliers gets it up in the air. Ruas. Oh! Didn't actually have boost, but you see that Nas was expecting Ruas to have boost and went higher than he needed to on his dunk attempt. That could have been it right there. Ruas gave him another clear to the side. Difficult to read that one from Gentlemate's POV, but they're just swarming them. Oski called off at last minute. Huge crossbar coming to the rescue of Falcons. It was a nice save to go into it, but that was unbelievably close to Gentlemates making a grand final appearance after 6 games. They were leading 3-2 at this moment, and they do put one through. Oh, sorry, did I say they were winning 3-2? They were not winning 3. They were losing 3-2 at this moment, and this did put them through into Game 7, which they won. Yeah, incredible stuff. What a match. And hopefully you guys enjoyed seeing that in the background as we discuss players who can win multiple RLCS Worlds this year. Maybe even all 3. But yeah, 3 is going to be pretty tough. Two is going to be tough as well. I mean, even winning one of them is difficult. Right, like I said earlier, let me know in the comments who you guys think is going to have a chance to win multiple Worlds. Do you agree with my list? Do you think it's going to stay that way, or is it going to change towards the end of the season? Will Daniel and Zen play? How do we persuade them to? Also, valid questions. That's all for this one, guys. Be sure to check out the nextrank.com links in the description. Join the Discord. Check out our YouTube channel. If you're interested in the course, you can get a preview on the nextrank.com/free, and check out Shotcast as well if you haven't already. I'm sure a lot of you have, but if you haven't, we've got over 130 bonus episodes on our Patreon for the low cost of a Twitch sub. Pretty good deal. Pretty good deal if you ask me. I am biased though. Anyway, that's all for this one, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.